Okay, good afternoon. So today we will be discussing regarding this, balance and one of the other aspects of balance, that is radial. Okay, we have discussed previously symmetrical and asymmetrical balance. Today we will be discussing regarding radial balance. So what is radial balance? We need to understand that one of the most important aspects that we need to go through. Now, usually we haven't seen many questions coming from radial balance in your exam, but this is one of the most important factors also which we need to understand in order to, again, in order to understand the different aspects of structural structural parts, or how things are being built, just the different aspects of a particular structure. So what is radial balance? First, let's try to understand this in terms of some, theoretically, let's try to understand this. So elements place and move following radius. Elements place and move following radius. Okay. So what do they mean by elements place and move following the radius? So in radial balance, simple thing is, for example, over here, if you have, let's assume this is your central. Okay. Let me change the color. Yeah. This is your central point. Okay. So in radial balance, what will happen is, like the whole set of structure or everything that is created will be based, or will be created upon the axis, or sorry, upon the radius of this central point. Okay. Or the axis which are running through the central point. So this will not be this kind of unbalanced. So it will be organized. For example, if this 2 is created over here, third is over here, fourth is over here. Now, if it is a bit more complicated, so it is like this. For this one also, it's like this. So everything, whatever structure and everything that is created will be revolving around one simple point. Okay, this is all. This is the very simple understanding or very simple basic about radial balance. Okay, so let us quickly understand what are the other aspects or what are the other terminologies given over here. Focus, emphasis comes in the center. So definitely, if everything is revolving around one simple central point, then the focus will be in the center. Or last day, what explanation I have given to you guys about emphasis. So the main point of attraction will be the center. And that is what they are talking about. Calm and soothing can be used in any direction. So see, when everything is revolving around a central point, okay, then everything will be equally balanced on all the sides. Hence, you can consider any of the sides, or it can be used in any direction. A centralized placement, sense of motion. So since things are revolving around that central point, then due to that, there is a sense of motion or a feeling of motion which is being generated. There is high rhythmic highly rhythmic. That whole set of things are looking similar and revolving around that one point. Hence rhythmic. Looks decorative, ornamented because of the radial use of elements. A lot of use in logo and architecture. The most important factor is logo. In logo, you will see a lot of use of this your radial balance. Okay. So now moving ahead, the examples which will clearly give you an understanding what I have told till now verbally. So for example, this dome, based on this central point, everything is moving. Now, radial balance necessarily doesn't mean that everything has to be in circles and circles only. For example, this particular structure, it's not a circle, but along the central point, the rest of the structures are moving in the same manner. Everything is proportionate, everything looks similar, and is revolving around that one central point. So this is all about radial balance. Clear? Any doubts?
No, sir. No, sir.
So we will go through some of the other examples. The staircase, spirally, the spiral staircase is again a best example of radial balance, followed by some examples from nature and stuffs like that. So over here, what we have, this eye. So the cornea of an eye, the central point, along that everything is moving around and situated. So that is one of the best example of radial balance. A spider wave is again one of the best example. A starfish, a flower with proper arrangement of petals. So these are all examples of radial balance and how radial balance is being created, how is it being situated, and what is the final outcome or the implementation of radial balance in our day-to-day life, where we can see it, what are the what is the understanding from it is simply that one central point is there and every other element or object which is kind of similar to each other is revolving around that central point. So this is all about radial balance that we need to know or understand. Moving ahead, okay, so in radial balance, as I mentioned, there is not much. So this is just a short portion of radial balance, just to give an understanding of what it is, how it is being done, and all. And there is nothing much to discuss about it. One most important thing which you will have to remember is that every radial balance is a symmetrical balance, but every symmetrical balance is not a radial balance. How? Let's take some examples and understand how it is possible, whatever I have told now. So for example, this particular flower, if I am considering a vertical axis, okay, so then it is similar on both the sides, left hand side and right hand side is similar, hence it is a symmetrically balanced composition. If I take the axis over here, again the same thing, symmetrically balanced composition. So in a radial balance, you can run an axis. So if this is the central point, okay, so in a radial balance, this is the central point. Let me clear this. So this is the central point along which the axis is running. Now in a radial balance, what will happen? You found out the central balance, central point, and you can run several lines in whichever direction you like. It can be diagonal, it can be anything. So these are all the diameter you can tell or the radius, okay, which is running. So anyhow you run an axis, every time or however it is, you will find that on both the sides of the axis, things are similar. So if things are similar on both sides of the axis, it is symmetrical B balanced composition. Now, if there are several axes and upon any axis that we take through the central point, everything looks similar, then it is radially balanced. So radially balanced composition is also symmetrically balanced composition. But when we consider only symmetrically, only compositions which were symmetrically balanced, they are not radially balanced. For example, the interior of a room which we have seen, that is symmetrically balanced because on both the sides of the vertical axis, things look similar. But it is not radially balanced, okay? Clear?
Yes, sir.
Now we have something, one of the most important design principle to discuss, and that is emphasis. So as in the initial class, when I was giving you a concept or idea that what is emphasis, what is contrast and all. So when you notice, for example, this logo of NIFT, the very first thing that you see or your eyes will be going towards this the dot of the eye, the circle of the above eye which is being created. In 7-Up, up will draw your attraction. In Michigan Library, e-library, this logo, this E portion, this logo will create draw your attention. Subway, the logo itself. Baskin Robbins, the BR. In Amazon, the smiley face. So over here in this thing, this circular yellow color structures created in between. So everything, like every logo which is being made over here is having a center of attraction upon which your eyes are going to. So any logo or anything that is being created, anywhere you see that, or so logos are meant for that purpose, you can say. Okay. So for example, why the people the higher logo designer, they pay big companies, they pay in crores to a logo designer because they want their logo to be unique. First thing, now unique logo can be created by anyone. Okay. But not just unique, it should be something which will draw people's attention, explain the essence of what they are selling. So for example, if there is a diamond shop and someone designed a logo which gives you a essence or feeling of a vegetable shop, so what will happen? Similar kind of thing works over here. Essence or understanding of the shop or whatever that the logo is for, along with it should be unique and eye catching. So when your eye goes to that up, you notice, okay, it's 7-Up. Okay, now what is 7-Up? You try to explore and then you come to know it's a drink. So let's try it. So this is how these things work. So when your eyes goes towards this eye, For example, in a dark, like, so for in a road you are walking, okay, and there is a huge symbol of NIFT. You notice the red color symbol from far away. When you are going like, passing by with your car near to that board, you will look and notice, okay, this is NIFT. Oh, I heard about NIFT is a college for fashion design. And okay. Baskin Robbins again. Once you have gone through that ice cream shop, now every time you are looking for ice cream shop, for example, in a metro city, and you found out from a far distance, you found out from 100 meters away, okay, there is a huge symbol of BR. You are like, automatically you know that, okay, let's go there. There will be an ice cream available. So this is how these things work, and this is how these things draw attention out of, like, creating a contrast with its like normal surroundings. And that when it is creating a contrast and drawing your attention, then it is creating an emphasis as well. So what is emphasis? Emphasis is used to draw attention in design space. Emphasis can be created using any or all of the elements of design and principles of design. It solved many practical needs of daily, that is road signage, alert alarms, important indicators, signifiers, etc. As well as it's used as aesthetic and signature in lifestyle, fashion, logos, poster, interior spaces, depending on the requirement, and that determine and speak a lot about human behavior. So these are the things what we needed to understand about emphasis and how emphasis really works. Okay. Any questions related to this?
No, sir. No question.
Fine. Now there are examples, and we need to understand that how emphasis is working out over here. Okay. For example, the very first image, right hand side top corner. Okay. What's happening is that in comparison with the surroundings, sorry, the red color, like, the windows, the red color door is creating a huge sense of contrast and is also drawing your attention. Hence, it is creating emphasis. Next composition, red color box in the center of all the white boxes. In the next one, left hand side bottom corner, this particular one. Okay, what is happening is the glass and the curvy structure or the curvy nature of these like, structures which are being created, that is creating a huge sense of contrast with the glass which is behind it, hence creating, like, emphasis on those flat glass portions which are properly visible, or like light is being reflected from there in a uniform manner. Hence emphasis is created or being created on those spots. Now as a whole, for example, you are watching this building, let's assume you are on a hotel which is like, 100 floors like tall. You are on the 60th floor, okay, or the 61st floor, and you are watching this building from a kilometer away. At that point, like, in comparison, like considering the neighboring like, buildings are almost similar, this building itself will stand as a unique one, hence creating your hence creating a sense of contrast in comparison with the other buildings around it, and this will draw your attention, hence creating emphasis. Okay, or this building is being emphasized. Now let's talk about the other example which over here, and this is very simple, or one of the most important like simplest examples which we have seen. That top dome which is over there in golden color, that is drawing your attraction, where whatever you see in and around that particular spot is drawing your attraction, hence that is creating an emphasis. Okay, next there are other few examples as well, so we need to understand. So we talked about this, the Last Supper. We have seen in our previous examples of symmetrically balanced. So this example we have seen, or this picture we have seen in our previous examples of symmetrically balanced composition. But at that point of time, I guess I told you guys, like, about one simple thing was that how Jesus is being emphasized, right? So all the rest of the people are being scattered together all at one place. Okay, they are being cluttered together all at one place, come in a compact format. Jesus in the center, whereas is having no one behind him, or is considerably less cluttered. So he is kind of free. There are not 10 people holding him from behind and, like, rounding him up. He is having a free space behind, and along with that, the painter Michelangelo, or Sir Michelangelo, has created a very good sense of open, like, space behind him. that might be the door and the windows from which the light of the nature, like the bright light of daylight is coming, hence creating a sense of like lighter background, and the colors which are being used on this particular figure, Jesus ka human figure, that is being darker, hence creating a sense of contrast, and is being highlighted. So your attraction or your attention is first going to that particular figure, and like the how that is, this is how it is being emphasized. For the other set of examples, we see a red balloon is flying away. This is being emphasized over here. Over here, the central lady is being emphasized in comparison with how everyone is moving towards her to cover her up with the clothes and all. Over here, see, over here again, now we need to notice what is happening. Right hand side, bottom corner picture, this statue thing. Okay. So what is happening in that statue? So you see there are three statues, okay? But why only the central statue is comparatively being more highlighted? Because the way the structural aspects has been created and the way the structure has been placed, the place behind the central statue will be always darkened down, because the natural light source or the artificial light source, however it falls, the depth behind that central statue will create a sense of darker background, and the light falling on the statue will give you a sense of lighter, like the foreground will be lighter, background will be darker, hence that statue will be in contrast and will be emphasized or highlighted. Okay, whenever we do emphasize on something, that means we are highlighting that particular object. Whereas when you compare these two statues, they are not having any such background, and hence being comparatively less highlighted. Okay. When we compare this particular woman with this particular animal in her vows or in her hand, then what we understand is that or like what we get, the feel what we get in comparison with her background is her face, this animal is being highlighted. That's where our first attraction is going towards. We are not looking, okay, what is the embroidery being done on our clothes at this point, or what is being done over here, but our attraction is going towards her face, all these portions which are comparatively creating a huge sense of contrast with its background. Okay, so hence creating a sense of emphasis. Okay, what are the other set of examples? Okay, now over here again, there are pretty good examples of emphasis over here. For example, this left hand side top corner. Okay, what we see over here is there is a wooden floor, and on top of which there is a off-white color, or a creamy colored mattress being laid. Now we always talk about red carpet welcome, okay, or a carpet creamy carpet is being laid. We always talk about red carpet, okay. Now why red carpet? Because red is always highlighted and people walk through that and they talk about, okay, red carpet means something being highlighted. But that sense of red carpet has been created due to its color and its contrast with the nature, neighboring surroundings, right? Over here with the wooden floor, if a dark red carpet would have been laid, that would have that this much contrast what this creamy carpet is being is creating over here. Okay, so hence this is being highlighted and this is being emphasized. Similar things is happening over here, the background wall. Over here, this red tools are creating that center of attraction. You will never notice, okay, what is the color of the chair over here? Though it is, all these things are same, but if this was something comparatively a little bit more dark gray, you will not notice that, because that is not creating a big amount of contrast. Whereas this thing is creating, these tools are creating. Hence, this will be the very first point of attraction, which will draw your view, or you will look at it and you will remember, okay, this is what has this is what was the color. You might not notice anything in the room, but this red color tools you will definitely remember. Okay, over here, the background of this deer is creating a huge sense of contrast with the surroundings. Even the deer itself is creating a sense of contrast with the neighboring, with its surrounding. Over here, the fireplace with all everything is white and a central black color fireplace is running through. Over here, the painting over here, how this bed has been placed with the central arch kind of shape in the center, and how the lights have been placed, that is creating a sense of contrast. Okay. Now we move ahead to the next. Like, okay, where is this picture taken from? Any idea?
Yes, sir.
This picture is taken from which, like, any structure, any movie, or what? Like any storybook?
I don't know, sir.
Okay, so there was a web series kind of thing known as Game of Thrones. You might have heard. This has been taken from there. Now over
Yes,
here
sir.
again. Yeah, you want to tell something?
No, sir. No, sir.
Okay, fine. So over here, the central throne is what is being highlighted with the spotlight. It is a set, like, it is a movie set kind of thing. So with the spotlights and all, this central portion is being highlighted. Hence, this is being emphasized. So emphasis and all this can be explained to you in one simple sentence also. But we need to see examples to for you to write the exam. We need to see examples. We need to see how these things are taking place or how these things are working up. Hence, like, these examples, like these compositions and all are being shown, and we are going in this manner to understand better, to implement it, or to understand how in different aspects one particular principle is being applied. Okay, over here again, the central water droplets are being emphasized, pretty much clear. Next composition. Okay, quickly tell me what is being emphasized in all the four compositions. First one, left hand side.
Lady.
Over here, what is being emphasized?
Sir, this is lady.
Huh?
Sir, this lady. Emphasize.
Lady. What is being emphasized on this right hand side composition?
Eyes. Eyes, face.
Okay, that particular portion through the link. What is being emphasized over here?
Umbrella.
Umbrella. What is being emphasized over here?
This
Last
broken egg.
broken egg. As simple as that. So the simple way to understand emphasis is whatever your eye falls onto, like, first. Now, at some point, or depending upon, like, emphasis always becomes subjective also at some places or some points. So, for example, let's assume, okay, understand this. So, for example, in a college or in a school or college only, I will say, in a college, it is your first day in college, okay, and let's assume there is one guy whose name is Mr. X. So Mr. X is traveling from one of the rural areas. Okay, he has rarely used a smartphone, or has, like, rarely used this phone. There is one phone for the whole family, and he has got a very good result, and he is traveling to a metro city and joining one of the best elite colleges in India. Okay, he travels there and he sees, like, let's assume most of the people are from, like, metro cities and all, and everyone is having, like, some sort of one of the best phones. Most of them are having iPhones and all. Now, out of in the whole class, okay, let's assume, or most of them are having Android phones only. Few of them are having iPhones and all. So he notices on a fine day, after joining, only after the very first day, he notices that he joined, and everyone is over there. They greeted their faculty, and suddenly one person's phone rang. He forgot to turn it off or put it in vibration mode. And when he took it out, he found out that, okay, it's iPhone 14 Pro or Pro Max, whatever it is. And that guy, so what will be the center of attraction for that guy, or for the other people who are using the Android phones and have really like, seen the iPhone? What will be their center of attraction? That particular iPhone, they will try to hold it in their hand and look at it for once at least. Am I right or wrong?
Yes, sir. You are right.
But for this particular emphasis, like, center of attraction or piece of emphasis, or thing which is creating a contrast, is for these people. Now, if I compare it with the person who is also having an iPhone 14, or have already used, like, five iPhones from, like, iPhone 11, iPhone 10, iPhone 12, 13, 14, he is using, will this iPhone 14 Pro will be an attraction for him as well?
No, sir.
This is what, like, we talk about. So something which is beautiful, something which is being emphasized in these kind of examples, it is always general, uniform for everyone. But there are certain things wherein things become also subjective. So what is beautiful for you might not be beautiful for me. So what, like, the food which you like the most might not be, like, the best food for me. So this is how things really work. So if you go to China, or, like, people who travel to Thailand, there is a road. I forgot the name of the road. It's famous for nightlife. So people go and, like, they go through the road, and for normal people on this side of India, or people in all the parts of India except the northeast, because northeast people, they are also having like similar kind of food ethics, or like similar kind of food items in comparison with this Chinese food or something similar, I will tell. So the people, from this part of India, people went for a visit to Thailand, and they went to the road, and at night the different out of different kinds of food items which you see over there, you can see cockroaches being fried as well. So that will be never be a center of attraction for you. You will try to run away, but the people who like it, for them it will be a center of attraction. They will try to run towards it. So this is how these things are quite subjective. Not beautiful, but in somehow it is kind of a sense of attraction for you. So similar thing goes for veg, non-veg persons as well. So over here we have few other examples of how different brands or different malls, showrooms and all, these people, how they use this work of emphasis or colors, or hence creating a contrast followed by emphasis, contrast creating emphasis after that, to give you a sense of different things, or like to give you a sense of different their products or the essence of their brand. So for example, a new phone, again I will give the example with phone, how you see it in a display mode in that particular shop, or shop in terms of, let's assume it's if you have visited Reliance, digital, there are various phones kept. Okay, the lighting, how it is being created, will give you a sense that okay, the phone is very shiny and all. You bring the same phone to your home under the normal light, the brightness will be a bit dim, like the kind of shining thing and all. So this is all work of light and shadow, and hence creating one part of the thing is creating contrast with the other. Same kind of thing happens in gold shop. Have you ever visited a gold jewelry shop?
No, sir.
So visit, you will definitely visit in your with your mom, or in the upcoming days, definitely you will visit with your family. Everyone goes to gold shop, is kind of a normal thing for everyone to visit. It's not something that no one goes. So it's very common for a normal life, for a normal person to visit. So see, if you have whenever you visit, go and notice over there what kind of lights have been kept. Every light that is being used in a gold shop, in a phone shop, you will see lights. Okay, if the best way will be, I will show you some example. Give me a minute. Let me find out two images from Google. Okay, wait. So just give me a second. I am finding some of the best examples. Okay, fine. I will share my screen. And see this particular image. Okay, in a jewelry shop, this is one of the gold jewelry shops. Okay, so what you see over here is the color of the lights. Watch it. It's warm. It's a warm color lighting being used. Similar thing is used over here. Same now when I just switch the screen to a smartphone shop, you will see most of the things are having this white color lights. Now, why so? Because this is like, these lights are creating an atmosphere, a sense of like, a sense or a feeling, which somehow or the either intricates your psychological activities. Hence, like, enhances you to make a purchase or gives you a better feeling about their particular product, right? A gold, like, how it is shining in this gold shop, it will never shine in your home because you will not focus such spotlights on that jewelry, right? So this is how these things are related, creating a contrast resulting in emphasis. Now this particular things or these elements working like, all together hand in hand to give you a psychological like, or intricate a psychological activity, which is resulting your physiological body to make some decision, and hence either you purchase or you not, is everything is kind of interrelated. Clear? Now, I'll give you another example. It will be better for you to understand. Uh, wait. Screen is visible, right?
Yes, sir.
So I have tried this. Now see, I have tried to find the picture of a nightclub. Okay, interior of a nightclub. So any of or every image that you see, why everything is so dark? Why this kind of like, ambient lighting of blue kind of pinkish, these kind of lighting is being used? Why? What is the essence of this? This very calm and like, so you see these lighting, this particular lighting or this sense is over here is to give you a feel or a sense of like, calmness or a relaxing mindset, right? So this is how this all the psychological activities are being triggered with a sense. Why in a nightclub they are not putting like, halogen lamps of yellow color or halogen lamps of white color and everything is very bright? Everyone will be able to see each other like, in a good way, right? The person like who likes the other person, they will be able to see each other. So why not? Because this particular lighting only gives you that sense and feeling which you need at that particular space. So color, like color psychology is also a chapter which we will go through, or a topic, and one of the most important topics which we need to discuss. Again, today I have given you some of the hints or some of the examples. So previously, how while going through like, emphasis, I told you slightly about contrast and all, light and shadow effect. Today I gave you some examples about color also. How color or how like, the color which is created via lighting affects your psychological aspects, right? So this is how these things are working out. I guess it's clear. In no, there are no doubts.
So no doubt, sir.
Okay, fine. We will quickly go back to our PDF. Give me a second. I'll close these tabs. Okay, fine. So now we have seen how these logos and all these things and aspects are working out over here. Over here again, a person in the center with a bag and all is being highlighted or being emphasized, and giving like, a sense of attraction is being created, right? Uh, See over here, if these lights were not there and the same bag was created among like, for 50 bags altogether, there are several 50 bags of different brands, and the same bag was hanged on a like, this rack in that whole like, set of bags, then people's eyes or attraction wouldn't have gone towards it, right? So for example, I have you heard about these brands like, these luxury brands like Prada, then I also forgot Gucci, then there are some other brands as well, I also don't know all the names. Have you heard about these brands? Louis Vuitton.
Yes, sir.
So what does like, what makes a Louis Vuitton bag a Louis Vuitton bag, or what makes this Gucci bag a Gucci bag, or a Gucci jacket, right? Because of its unique, it's being emphasized. You will never see in like, a store. So for example, you go to a supermarket or go to a normal shopping mall, how clothes are being kept over there, thousands of clothes in a whole set of rack of boys jeans. Okay, several jeans are kept of different sizes. When you go to a luxury store, you will never see things are being like, kept together like that. There is very few items, everything is unique, everything is being highlighted of its own. So a Gucci bag is being like, made a Gucci bag because it is being kept in that way. Now today, if I go to Karol Bagh or if I go to Sarojini Market over Sarojini Market, and like instead of buying the 2.5 lakh ka, like let's assume Louis Vuitton ka bag, there's a tote bag which is being kind of like now famous. I bought a 1000 or 1500 2000 ke aspas ka same kind of looking tote bag. I took it okay in that particular store. It has a very nice finishing. Okay, the craftsmanship is really good. Now, if I took that 2000 rupee bag and kept it in place of that 2 lakh or 4 lakh rupee ka bag, will any person will visiting that Louis Vuitton store will be able to re-identify or cross-verify it as that no, this is fake until and unless I tell them. Am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So, like do you got my question? That will any person be able to identify that particular bag as a fake one?
No, sir.
So why not? Because when they are visiting a store, they have that thing out in their mind, that their psychological aspect is working in this way, that in this store we cannot be cheated, right? What happens? So for example, iPhone or any of these like premium gadgets and all, when we try to buy online, we are seeing a good discount. But we like kind of feel in terms of phone, laptops and all branded things, we feel a kind of insecurity. Okay, what might happen? Because we have seen incidents over time that where people are being scammed. But when we are going to an Apple authorized center, or like that particular a particular offline store which is authorized, and there are several products here, we are very much secure. If they are scamming us also, we will be definitely 200% not able to identify that product while buying if it's a real one or a fake one, because our psychological aspects always takes us towards that. So our, if there is a meter, okay, if there is a meter like your bike's one, and central one is the neutral, left hand side is like a negative, right hand side is positive. So our like neurological or psychological aspects is always like giving us a pre-sense or giving us a pre like judgment of that particular thing, right? So these things are very natural, and this is how these things work, and being emphasized or being not being emphasized works in this manner. I guess things are pretty much clear. Now, there are a few other examples in terms of branding or ad purpose, how emphasis really works. Over here, a highlighter in the bottom space is like, how with the color of like with its color and surrounding areas have created a sense of emphasis. On top, there is a shoe, which is creating a sense of emphasis. On the right hand side, there is this particular like hand of Hulk with this bandit, which is giving us a very like strong feeling about that bandit. Now, right now, if I am telling you, this might not give you that actual thing, but when you notice it, like this branding of bandit, whenever you after a month, if you had something and you want to buy a bandit, you will go and tell that give me a bandit, and bandit itself becomes a product. Okay, Bandit is a brand actually selling this kind of like first aid tapes, first aid concealment tapes or something like this. Okay, in terms of safety tapes. But Bandit has itself Bandit is actually a brand. So this brand has become a product right now, and whenever you go, you don't look at okay what brand is there. You go and tell give me a Bandit, right? So this is how these things work, and this is how things like really work in day-to-day life. One few other examples of emphasis is being shown over here, which is very necessary in road safety also. For example, the seat belt ka red color symbol. So while putting a seat belt or while opening it, you don't need to look carefully and find out okay where is the hole out of all those similar color of objects or this black color. If the color like interior color is black, you don't need to find out okay where is the hole, and like I need to find out to put my seat belt now. That red color automatically will give you a sense or a feeling, and your like automatically your hand will move in that direction because that is being emphasized, and these things are working internally. Similar thing is happening in road this with this road marking and all, with this like yellow color symbol behind a train, then this fire car red like symbol which is showing to fire alarm like box which is, or this fire box which might be having a hammer to break the glass and all, making it red is creating a sense of emphasis so people can easily notice it during an emergency. So all these things are there. Now we have rhythm. We will not go into rhythm in today's class. So that's all for this class. I'm ending the recording over here.